Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
All right, you could just, yeah, you could just, yeah.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Thanks, Salim.
The power what Salim does from far. And so today, I'll give you the background to understand what the topic is. Have a second. Just have a second. Just a second. The Gemara says in Masechet Beitza from the pasuk, "V'nechshav lachem terumatchem." V'nechshav lachem terumatchem. The Gemara says that Truma Gedola can be separated by Machshava, which means I have 100 cases of grapes. I can think the one on the left, on the far left should be Teruma, V'nechshav. V'nechshav. So now, you, Larry, or you, there's a Salim, you can open Rambam, Sefer Zraim, Ilchot Trumot U'Maasrot. Ilchot Trumot U'Maasrot. The Rambam says, Kol HaMafrish Teruma Gedola, או תרומת מעשר, מברך קודם שיפריש כדרך שמברכים על כל המצוות.
Wait, it's in what Rambam?
ספר זרעים.
Yes, Trumot.
הלכות תרומות ומעשרות, פרק ב' הלכה ט"ז.
Okay.
The Rambam says, כל המפריש תרומה גדולה או תרומת מעשר, מברך קודם שיפריש כדרך שמברכים על כל המצוות. Okay, you don't see any חידוש in that. יש מצווה דאורייתא, מצווה תרומות ומעשרות. So now I'm giving you a background to understand the question of the האחרונים. בערב פסח, before בדיקת חמץ, we make a ברכה אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על ביעור חמץ. The Beit Yosef is asking, why don't we make a bracha with bitul chametz? Bitul chametz. If you really learn Masechet Pesachim, you realize that the bitul,
Belief, b'machshava,
main part of biur chametz. Okay, today most people or many people sell it to a goy, but before this concept existed, it's bitul chametz. Why don't you make a bracha on bitul chametz?
Could it's a machshava?
Oh, good, good. So this is a very famous Bet Yosef. It says the Bet Yosef. כל דבר שמקיימים בלב, אין על זה ברכה. מה אני אגיד? אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לבטל את החמץ, אתה לא עושה כלום, אתה רק עושה את זה בלב. כך אומר הבית יוסף.
So that would that be a machshava? That's a machshava too?
The bitul normally is...
No, I'm asking just on a machshava. So there is no bracha on emunah bar Shem, is there?
There isn't.
For the same
But
reason?
In a minute, obviously we are going to explore what is the exact meaning of the Bet Yosef. How far are we going with it? So here is question number one. The uncle of Rabbi Akiva Eger sent him a question, and this is the question. Why is the Rambam saying that there is a bracha and afrashat trumot? If afrashat trumot, the Gemara says you can be mafrish even with machshava, yes?
Oh, that's okay.
היא שאלה מעניינת מאוד, yes? Okay, so באמת, the uncle of Rabbi Akiva Eger says באמת, תוספות עם מסכת חולין says that Rashi says אין הכוונה ממש במחשבה, you are not saying anything. Even if you are not physically taking 2% and separating it and saying it's תרומה, as long as you say, אני מפריש תרומה, זה בסדר, fine. According to that, זה לא קשה, fine. זה לא מחשבה ממש. But not everyone believes that you have to say. For instance, do you have the Rambam open by you, Larry or something? Open the Rambam in פרק ד' מהלכות תרומות ומעשרות. פרק ד' הלכה ט"ו. The Rambam says, הפריש תרומה במחשבתו. You hear the Rambam? הפריש תרומה במחשבתו.
Where is this in
ספר זרעים.
Dalit Trumot?
ד' הלכה ט"ז.
Oh, Hifrish Timura b'machshav. All right, it starts in the middle.
תרומה במחשבתו ולא הוציא בשפתיו. Why did the Rambam add the word ולא הוציא בשפתיו? Exactly for the mitzvah is done if I think that this case of grapes out of 100 should be Truma, is Truma. So this answer that Rashi says, yes, that Truma requires at least a tibur, doesn't work. באמת זאת קושייה חזקה מאוד. So, we need to listen carefully, זה דברים מעניינים מאוד. Let's go to bitul, okay? What is bitul chametz?
To declare it overflows.
In my mind, I look on chametz before Pesach as dust. So you באמת, not doing anything. In your machshava, it's a state of mind. Here, I'm thinking that this case of grapes should be teruma. But with this machshava, the grapes are becoming teruma. This is not a machshava, this is a maaseh. אתה מבין מה שאני אומר?
You change the status of the item?
זה נקרא מעשה, of course. Before I declare that this is teruma, This was regular table. Before I declared, I can give it to my dog. Before I declared, I can sell it. After I declared that this case is Truma, it's Mamon Kohen, I cannot do anything with it. As a matter of fact, you have to be very careful not to make it Tameh. So again, the question is, if we are not making a bracha on the fruits, if we're not making a bracha on bitul chametz, because it's devarim shebalev, why are we making a bracha as we just saw in the Rambam on Parashat Trumot u'Maasrot? If the Gemara says that Truma and Maaser can be done b'machshava.
Although, Rabbi Prague, but when you said before, you're actually taking the chametz, and you said you're making the ka'afra da'ara, so you also are physically in your mind changing the status of the item.
Okay, I was very careful. באמת, it's a מחלוקת רש"י and תוספות. According to Rashi, ביטול חמץ means I'm removing my ownership from it. It's becoming הפקר. אבל גם כן לא עשיתי שום דבר.
Right.
The item remains as it was. The question is, who is the owner of the item now? Right? Before I own the case of whiskey, it's not mine. Tosafot. This is Tosafot. Rashi says, the way the Ran learns, it's a state of mind. In my mind, I'm looking on it as a worthless item. Why? Because the Torah tells me that I cannot have it. So either you can understand that the Beit Yosef said it only by chametz, because be'emet, I'm not doing anything. But when I'm a frish truma b'machshava, yes, I'm taking regular fruit, and my machshava makes the fruit. This is the maaser. Or of course you can argue. I mean,
Well, let's say, I know, because I'm not, it's late, I'm not thinking straight, but Pidyon haben, you take something that, why do you could do it b'machshava, you had the mind, you take
nothing. If you do pidyon haben b'machshava, no asita klum. Why?
I'm trying to find an example of where
No,
you do.
זה ודאי לא דוגמה טובה, אין לי.
I know it's that, I'm trying to think of a good one.
אני כן אתן לך דוגמה. You wake up in the morning, but this is already a big discussion now. You wake up in the morning, you cannot learn Torah unless you say Birkat Torah. How about if I'm not learning verbally as we are learning now, I'm only thinking. Sometimes
isn't that Hirur? I mean, that's
exactly, this is Hirur. Says the Shulchan Aruch openly, המהרהר בדברי תורה, לא צריך לברך. למה לא? And the Grav Vilna comes, the Grav Vilna says, no. If you're מהרהר, you're still מקיים מצוות תלמוד תורה, so why shouldn't you say ברכת התורה? But on the Mechaber, see, the Mechaber is the Beit Yosef.
so when Rabbi Prague, but going back to Torah, I'm not arguing with the Vilna Gaon, but mehaher is a nice way, but you don't say ani mehaher b'Torah. So I say bani mehager b'Torah v'gita, and higita, you have to say something.
Okay.
So how does he come? I mean, I understand Hirur Balev and understand, but how did he?
It's interesting how you interpret the word mehaher, but as a matter of fact, the Gra brings the pasuk v'hagita bo yomam v'layla as a proof that the Hirur is he says the opposite. The pasuk is the higayon balev. I mean, so you can say that the Beit Yosef is the shitato. Since it says that devarim shebalev you don't say bracha, so in Birkat Torah, if you are me'arher b'divrei Torah, you wouldn't say the Birkat Torah. But let's say, according to the Graph, what will you say? Yes. Here's another question. A man is writing the Divrei Torah. He's not speaking. You wake up in the morning, there's a chidush he wants to write. הוא לא אומר שום דבר. Remember, the pasuk that teaches us to say Birkat Torah is Kishem Hashem Ekra,
Avogod
Avogod Elokeinu. Ekra, and Shem Hashem refers to Torah. The Shulchan Aruch says, הכותב דברי תורה צריך לברך. Can you tell me what is the difference between writing or מהרהר or thinking about it? I wake up in the morning after I came back from Israel. I was, everyone, yeah? You're up early.
We talked about this like a month ago.
Yeah, of course we spoke about it.
But then let me ask you, you see, it's very interesting. They're very careful of Mehaher. So let me ask you, so today you got up and you went to Shaarei Chesed for Shachris, and you didn't read the Shmona Esrei, and you just thought the Shmona Esrei.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be able to say the mitzvah of Tfilat Shmona Esrei.
No, why?
Because of Chana.
Because Hirhu love kedibu dami. You hear?
Right.
It's a machloket gedola b'Gemara. This is your point. Is exactly the focus of the Gemara. There is a page and a half on it. Hirhu. When Ezra did not allow people who are tameh to study Torah, so what did he do with mitzvah Kriyat Shema? They were maharher with Kriyat Shema, yes?
I don't know if you remember, Larry, like we talked about a month ago. Not only that, you can actually take a class that you're listening to through the shower.
Right. Salim read us that if you're just listening to a class, a recorded class, and you're not doing anything, you see how far it goes?
Yes.
You do it in the shower. This is what
No clothes on.
Yalkut Yosef said.
Yeah.
With clothes on?
No clothes on.
No.
I mean, that's we learned today that by a room. I mean, I'm
learned in the morning that you cannot separate challah, a man or woman naked, because you cannot say Shem Hashem when you're naked, yes? But this is the point now.
I mean, to me, if I'm going to the shower and I'm going to take today's shiur of Rambam Layom, and it says, what is shchita, let's say, in Hilchot Shabbat, to me, it would be so counterintuitive to be listening to Rambam in the bathroom.
I agree.
I don't believe.
I'll get you the book.
I believe it. I just don't believe the average person. Maybe the Gedolim could do it, but
no, not the Gedolim.
I don't believe they do it either.
The Gedolim will be the last one
Opposite.
to do it, even though it's mutar. Salim is only pointing out that
how far the halakha goes.
Halachically, listening is like thinking. Since you are not actively, but this is why Salim.
There's an argument, but the Shulchan Aruch, and I think Rabbi, where's the book again? I forgot. It's called B'ki B'Halakha. Yeah, B'ki B'Halakha. That's based on Rabbi Avadia's books. I think they based it on that.
Okay.
Specifically.
Rav Avadia wants to say, because Hirhu lav kedibur dami, so if you listen to Divrei Torah, you're not really medaber Divrei Torah. So if you're taking a shower, and I agree with you, Larry, 100%. Yeah.
I hear, but the bar tabam, okay, but still, I mean, it's interesting, and I wonder how many people do it. I mean,
So you all have to have you can't have a bathroom.
It would be one thing if I learned 20 hours a day.
This is the point.
I would. No, I mean, you can always find that half an hour to listen to the shiur that doesn't have to be in the shower.
I told you that
Al Tiyeh Tzadik Habei. I mean, my God.
A kid in his 20s. You have to ask him from Zalman if it's okay to learn during Chazarat HaShatz. He's looking at the Gemara. So Shlomo Zalman looks at him and he says, listen, every time you're walking from your dining room to your Bet Midrash, are you thinking of the way Torah? How about when you go to sleep? If you're telling me that every 60 seconds of every minute during the day you're learning, then okay. So the only time you become a matmidi is because of the... but it made him aware. מה אתה מבלבל בראש, אתה מבין?
Right.
No, but it's only young kids that can ask him. Chafetz Chaim, when he wrote his book, Mishnah Berurah, it took him 40 years.
Oh.
A big part of it he learned with his son. His son says that sometimes they were learning all night. He didn't realize that the night is over, and he didn't come to the yeshiva to pray b'minyan. So he says his father used to go to the yeshiva and says, Rabotai, I was learning all night, and this is the chidushim I said. So the boys used to ask him, Rabbi, you have to tell us. Do you think we think you poofed 2 extra hours? No. It says, Yesh pasuk vehitem nekiim,
Hashem
Hashem Israel. Don't call it, don't give people the opportunity or the havamina, yes, to look at what you do in a negative way. Okay, as Salim says, of course we spoke about it.
Fascinating.
If you said in Bekadat, if you remember the Sephardic version and the Rambam's version, this is Al Divrei Torah.
Yeah, sure. We always had this.
We say La'asok B'Divrei Torah. You can see the difference. You can see the difference there. but השאלה היא אם אנחנו מסתכלים על מחשבה תמיד למעשה, the whole idea of what Sally mentioned was because of Yivur,
But so you look, just think of a marriage ceremony. Why can't I say, I'm thinking I want to marry this woman, but they have, everything is a physical act. Kesef?
זו שאלה טובה, זו שאלה טובה. עכשיו, באמת, 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 באמת.
Because she'll kill you, that's why. You're not
He'll do that either way. Miko, either way. Either way, don't worry about it. Anyone, don't even.
She's
Not
thinking
today, Miko.
about it.
Not even today, Miko. Not today.
You hear the Gemara regarding Kiddushim, the Sugya. The Gemara said, Devarim shebalev ve'inam devarim. Which means, I mean, this is the case of the Gemara. A man seriously was planning to go to Israel. He sold his house and his farm, but he did not tell the buyer, I'm selling it on the condition that I'm going to Israel and I'm successful in moving to Israel. The Gemara says he was trying to go to Israel, but he didn't work. He comes back to the buyer and he says, you know, all my friends know that the only reason I sold it is because I'm moving. But in reality, I cannot really move to Israel now. The Gemara says, Devarim shebalev, ve'inam devarim, which means, when you sold it to him, the act that the two witnesses saw is selling a house. And you made it condition. Only if I'm able to go to Israel, fine.
But you made the condition by yourself. You didn't make it a public condition or a condition to the seller.
There is a Mishnah in Kiddushin. You listen to the Mishnah. And the Gemara has it in the two sides. Let's say the man is dating a girl, she's crazy about him, and he's telling her, he's bluffing her, he has a PhD, he tells her he's a Kohen. Nothing. The Gemara says, you're not Mekudeshet. Fine. Says the Gemara, what happens if she says, I really like you, I couldn't care less if you have a PhD, or if you have this, you have that? The Gemara says, Dvarim shebalev einam devarim, which means, the witnesses that saw a marriage, saw a conditional marriage. הרי את מקודשת בי על מנת שאני כהן. הרי את מקודשת בי על מנת שאני whatever, yes? She's telling us now, listen good, אף על פי שאמרה בליבי היה להתקדש לה. In my heart, I really thought I'm marrying him no matter what. Very well. The Gemara brings this. This is a Mishnah. דברים שבלב אינם דברים. Now, normally the reason why דברים שבלב אינם דברים are based on whatever we think, right? Doesn't show, even if I believe you that you think so, and even if we are going to invent a machine that reads your thoughts, but unless you are verbally saying it, it doesn't show us that you're seriously committed or you're seriously planning to do it. זה נקרא דברים שבלב אינם דברים. You see that the Gemara says, that חשב לעשות עבירה ולא עשה, unless he did previously 3 times the עבירה anyway, the מחשבה doesn't count. Why? It's only מחשבה, we are human. בחשב לעשות מצווה, if you remember the Gemara has the following question. A man is refusing to divorce his wife and the court tells him you must do it. Okay, so the Gemara says, by the end we really beat him up. But seriously, until he says, okay, I'm divorcing my wife, he writes a divorce paper. The Gemara says, but we know that the man really doesn't want to divorce. It's for weeks and weeks. This is the question of the Gemara, not me. For weeks and weeks. He didn't want to divorce her. Says the Gemara, דברים שבלב אינם דברים. I don't care. Right now, we have witnesses. You appointed the sofer to write. The sofer gave it to you. You gave it to the woman. I raised it there. Okay, everyone knows it. The Gemara says no. Maybe over there, the reason is because the man really knows all the way that he really has to divorce his wife. He said no because he's obnoxious. He says no because he's angry. He says no because he's taking revenge. But the minute he starts to be beaten up, the minute the beginning really beats him up, the yes now is a real yes. Understand? The yes reveals. This is the Rambam. You know the Rambam? The Rambam in Perek Gimel Milchot Gerushin. Open a second, Rambam Nashim. Perek Gimel Milchot Gerushin.
Where are you learning, Rabbi Prague?
In half a second. פרק ב' הלכה כ'. פרק ב', רמב"ם נשים, פרק ב' מגירושין הלכה כ'.
Thank you.
מי שהדין נותן, שכופין אותו לגרש את אשתו ולא רצה לגרש. You do understand that in the time of the Gemara, if the woman presents proof, is an abusive husband or whatever, or of course vice versa, she is not fulfilling her duties, we would commend them to get divorced. If not, we would force her or her she. מי שהדין נותן שכופים אותו לגרש את אשתו ולא רצה לגרש. בית דין של ישראל בכל מקום ובכל זמן, מכים אותו, עד שיאמר רוצה אני. עד שיאמר רוצה אני ויכתוב הגט והגט כשר. וכן, אם היכו גויים, but the goyim were hired by the Jewish court, ואמרו לו, עשה מה שישראל אומרים לך. ולחצו אותו ישראל ביד הגויים עד שיגרש, הרי זה כשר.
Wow.
Okay, this was in the time of Today it's against the law. Fine. Now, continues the Rambam. ולמה לא בטל גט זה? שהרי הוא אנוס, בין ביד גויים בין ביד ישראל. Either he was forced or beaten by Jewish Bedin or by the Goyim. It's anus. Why is the get a get? Says the Rambam, שאין אומרים אנוס, אלא למי שנלחץ ונדחק לעשות דבר שאינו מחויב מן התורה לעשותו. כגון, listen good now, מי שהוכה או שמכר או שנתן. People come to you and they beat you up until you give up an expensive item that you have. You said, okay, I'm giving it, you're giving it. The matana is batel. Why? You didn't do it willingly.
There's no chayav min Torah. Sell it.
Says the Rambam, אבל מי שתקפו יצרו הרע, לבטל מצווה, as you just said. Here in Torah, you're supposed to divorce your wife. So Yetzer Hara doesn't let you, yes? He's convincing you or makes you obnoxious or upset or stubborn not to do it. או לעשות עבירה, והוכה עד שעשה דבר שחייב לעשותו, and he was beaten until he agrees to do it, או עד שנתרחק מדבר שאסור לעשותו, איזה אנוס, והוא אנס עצמו בדעתו הרע. As you understand, something you understand the depth of this Rambam? The Rambam is saying any husband who refuses to divorce his wife, deep inside he knows that he has to divorce his wife. But he's taking revenge, he's upset. The minute you are beating him up, the yes is not a yes because I'm beaten up. The yes now is the inner Jew that you are. Your inner Yehudi says to you, this is the right thing to do. The Beit HaLevi works very much with this Rambam to explain how come Paro.
All right, because he did it exceedingly more. All right. Ichbid, okay.
Paro was always no. When he's afraid from Barad, he's not changing his mind. He's only afraid of Makat Barad, so he's saying yes. But his subconscious, his inner feeling is, I would never send the Jews. Here the Rambam says the opposite. I mean, everyone likes to use this Rambam and show that deep inside every Jew be'emet רוצה לעשות טוב, but יש לו יצר הרע. The minute you beat him up, you kill the יצר הרע, so to say. So going back, the Beit Yosef says, don't make a bracha and bitul, because bebitul ein maaseh. Not only that, by bitul, the bitul is done with your mind. I cannot look at a case of expensive whiskey and say it's afar.
But where are other examples when it's a beautiful thing when you explained it, that you physically took this tevel and you changed it into.
This is one of the answers. It's not really considered.
I'm trying to think of other examples of this.
אין הרבה דוגמאות שהמחשבה עושה את המעשה. I mean, let's take this example. You are a סופר, you're writing a mezuzah, correct? If you didn't write a mezuzah לשם מצוות mezuzah, פסול. זה דברים שבלב, אינם דברים. Why is it? I'm writing the mezuzah. There is a precondition that it has to be done לשם. So the מחשבה is not what makes the mezuzah mezuzah. The כתיבת mezuzah שמע
Lishma.
ואהבת והיה עם שמוע, זה מזוזה. If it's not done לשמה, המזוזה לא כשרה, אתה מבין?
It's very fast.
אתה יודע, אבל if you realize, we're always going around with the same ideas. You are building a sukkah, לשם מצוות sukkah. The Gemara says that for the duration of the holiday, the sukkah is kadosh like a korban. Yeah? You never said I makdish my sukkah. If you're building it for sukkah, this is what the Torah is telling us. Sukkah is about kadosh.
What about, wait, let's think about it. What about if you're looking at an animal and you think you want to make that animal hektish?
שאלה טובה, טוב. זו שאלה טובה, but let's be more practical.
Or a korban?
Or korban is better, yes. יש תשובות באחרונים. I mean, you're thinking seriously, remember, not a thought crosses your mind, yes? יש הרבה שאומרים שהקורבן קדוש, yes.
But think about it. When you have a machshava ra'ah, it becomes pigul.
Correct. Now, זה מעניין שאתה שואל את זה, למה? כי רש"י אומר במנחות, it's not the מחשבה, you have to say it.
There you are.
This is the point. המחשבה לא יכולה לעשות שום דבר. You slaughtering the קורבן in a regular way, how would you make it פסול? Okay, come, so we'll stop here, probably continue tomorrow. How was the day in Israel today? Quiet or?
Relatively quiet. I mean, United States just struck back because they shot down a helicopter. So we gave them a little bit of a potch, but nothing, it didn't seem like it's...
Isn't that funny that if they shoot a helicopter, America has the right to shoot?
Well, naturally, it's America, not Israel, but...
Okay, this is
the
the answer. Speaking in the name of justice.
Yeah, justice.
Okay, so Bezrat Hashem, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Salim. Thanks, everybody.
Salim, thank you very, very much, Salim.
Well, that's all.
Rather tov, everybody.